everybody, it's Alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus from Threshold of Hineni and the Widow Ruckelshaus, and I have been sorting things in my house. I mean, it's been really bad. I might tell you about that later, but that's kind of not the topic today. But I've gotten a bunch of magazines and catalogs and stuff, and I like to go through those every once in a while to choose things that I might use in junk journals and just get those things out so I can throw the rest of the magazine away. So I got several of my favorites here that are a variety that will show you different things that you might want to have for your junk journals, and I'll show you how I choose those. I'll kind of explain what my criteria are and then how I store them. Okay, so let's talk about storing first. So while I'm sorting them, I sort them into little baskets like this. These particular ones are from Walmart. They're really cheap. I think you get like a set of them for $1 or a little bit more than $1 or something. You can get sets like this at Dollar Tree for $1. Okay, so that's also, and they come in all different sizes. So like I usually keep scraps for my Franken paper in one like this, a long one like this. As I'm sorting through stuff in magazines, I'll have several of these out and I'll put them into these to just sort them. But then I will dump them into those shoebox size plastic bins that have a lid on it, and I'll put a label at the end and put it on my shelf. There's also another size of these, and it's like this. So you can get 2 of these for $1 at Walmart. At Dollar Tree, and I think that they have black also. I just go with white because that's just what I have. Okay, so I want to show you several different magazines here, and you don't necessarily have the same magazines, but you may have, certain types and kind of what to look at. So my favorite one is this one on the bottom. We're going to look at that one last, and my next favorite is that one that's right above it. But each of these kind of has different things to offer. So this is Men's Health Magazine. No, I do not get Men's Health Magazine. Somehow my son got a subscription. It comes to my house. He told me to throw it away. So I go through it first and get stuff that I want out of it. Okay, so usually what I'm looking for in the Men's Health Magazine is words. I like the words that they have. Sometimes there are some cool pictures too. Oh, I meant to have here with me a men's junk journal that I did some time ago that I have a flip through video of. I'll put that down in the description box so you can look at it if you want to. It's one of my most popular videos for some reason. I don't think it's the greatest junk journal in the world, but I think it's just that, there aren't a lot of junk journals for men, so people like to see that. If you want an example of a man's junk journal, I will also link one that I did for my father, which I'm really proud of. It has a Revolutionary War theme, and especially focuses on the battle that some of our ancestors fought in. But the other one uses magazine pieces, mostly from Men's Health. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm looking for words and sometimes pictures, like in a men's magazine, especially, men's junk journal especially, this right here would be really good. Obviously you can't use his whole figure, but you could just use like this top part. That would be so cool to have as a picture. Ooh. Oh, I see. I thought they were cookies with sausage in them. Okay. Anyway, ADD here, whatever. Anyway, so that would be a really cool thing to fill up, like pretty much a page, and then somebody could just like write around it. That would be really cool. I look for quotes. Let's see, people tell me I'm not supposed to do the things that I do at my size. I just take it as a blessing. Oh, that is a great quote. So I would cut that out or tear it out. What I do is when I'm finding things in a magazine, I just tear them out. I try to leave plenty of border so that if I don't want the tears around it, I can cut it, and there's plenty of room for that. But I don't do like any fancy cutting or anything like that while I'm looking for stuff. Okay, so my little storage boxes, can you see those over here? Just barely. Okay, so one of them is going to be for pictures, and I already have like some pictures of flowers and stuff here. Oh my gosh, look at this hilarious picture. This was from a gardening magazine. Okay, and then I have one for quotes, and I'll have another, and words can go in that one too, and then I'll have another one for like borders and just stuff that I find that's just colors for oh, look at all these quotes. Okay, so these would be really good to tear out. I'm not going to take the time to tear everything out right now because that would just take up your time and you don't need to have it. But just to show you again really quickly, I try to leave as much space around it as I can. Now I like this. If you could offer advice to your 20-year-old self, what would it be? So I don't want to run into that. I'm just going to cut around here. You could use scissors if you want. I just find it a lot quicker to tear. So this is something that you could do while you're sitting watching TV or a movie or something. Now this is really cute. I would love to use that, but I avoid pictures that are like copyrighted, like Disney or anything like that, just because I don't want to get into trouble. So, and here again, see, I would also cut this out. What's one thing you would tell your 20-year-old self if you had the chance? That is such a good question, and you could, and I don't mind losing these 2 quotes in order to have that, and having it twice would be really good because you can use it in a couple of junk journals. Okay. Find the true meaning of pride would be a good phrase to cut out. And just things, oh, like this telephone, that's a great picture. Okay, so you can kind of see blood rush. That would be a great phrase. You can kind of see what I'm looking for in here. Okay, just kind of, all right, now if I was doing a men's journal, I might cut out all these exercises and put them throughout. I wouldn't put them all together, I would scatter them throughout. All right, so that just kind of gives you an idea. This would be a great picture for like a women's journal, not so much one for men. That just gives you kind of a an idea of how I might use that magazine. Okay, so now AMAC, this is a conservative magazine. It's kind of like ARP, but it's conservative. I like maps like this. That's really good. Look at this gorgeous picture here of the lighthouse. You might do something with a cruise ship. I probably wouldn't. I like things like this little rose here. And again, tear wide around it so that you can cut it more carefully later when you're ready to use it. But the thing is, you don't really know how you're going to use it when you cut it out. So you want to leave enough room around it so you can do whatever it is that you want to do. American Resolve. That's a great phrase to have in a junk journal. Okay, so just, you know, looking for things that I would, oh, that's a beautiful picture that I would cut out. Things that I would expect to find in a magazine like this might be things that are typical of today. You know, so it's like I have some 2020 journals that have little things about the pandemic in them and stuff. And you could use it at any time, but it just has that bit of history in there. These puzzle solutions, those would be great. You know, I probably wouldn't include these answers. I'd just include those little cutout things. Oh, this is interesting. I need to read that article. Okay. So just, you know, there's just a lot of things to look for like that. Let me see if I can find like one more thing. Living the American Dream. I would definitely cut that out. That's a great thing to have. Sometimes shoes like this are kind of fun to have, especially if you had quite a few different shoes that you could cut out and then put all throughout the journal. So that would be really cool. So those are just some of the things that you could include from a magazine like this, like a news magazine. Okay, now this magazine, this one was actually addressed to somebody who lived in my house years ago. So I would look through first and see if there's things that I want to use, such as this. That clock is really pretty. Maybe a little bit of this scene or even this possibly. But for the most part, I already kind of flipped through here, and for the most part there really aren't things that I would use in a junk journal. So why do I have it here? The reason I have it here is to show you these things are really good for when you're gluing with a glue stick. Okay, you can put something down on a page like this. This is nice and big, and you can just glue to your heart's content. And then when a page is all sticky and everything, you just close it over here, rub it together some, and it'll stick, and then you're just ready for the next page. Now I'm seeing a few pictures that I want, like this one would be kind of cool to have. Ooh, that's really pretty, isn't it? So who knows, I might use those. So I'll go through this first, but I probably won't find a whole lot. Mainly I'll use it as my, you know, gluing background. Another thing that I use for gluing that I'm using right now is this, and you can see I've torn off the pages that I've already used. And one thing I want to say is don't order catalogs just to use them for junk journals. This costs the company things. It costs them money to print up. It costs them money to send out. I mean, this is a big, heavy catalog, so it costs them quite a bit. So just get, catalogs of things that you would use, and then once you're done with it, you can cut stuff out. See, this is 2019 spring planting. Obviously, I'm done using it. Okay, so gardening catalogs. Oh my word. If you like flowers, there are going to be tons and tons of things in here for you to cut out. And I've already gone through here and gotten some things, but let me just tell you what I would get and what I wouldn't get. So I used to cut out things that had this on it and just like cut around it, but I have found there are way too many already perfect pictures that don't have stuff like that on it, so I can just ignore those ones. I would cut out this windmill. See, and I would just like cut it right above where it says growing beauty since 1908. But for now, I would just tear it out like this, lots of space around it. And then sometime, when I use the picture, then I can fussy cut around it and get it just right. That's really cute. So I might cut out something like that. And then I would probably just use a little bit of it. And I figure kids that are in catalog are fine to use because they're already out there in public. Their parents have already been okay with it. Let me show you some of the things that I already cut out from this magazine. All right, so I got these pictures because see, there's nothing on the pictures. There's no writing on the picture itself. Same thing with these. Those are really pretty. And I may or may not use these, y'all, but at least that way I've got them. Okay, now this has some writing down here, but I can still cut it out and just kind of come around like this because this is unusual and it's really pretty. Let me just get rid of the top so it doesn't mess it up when it's sitting in there. Okay, and remember, I'm going to be putting this into a bigger little bin. Here's one of those windmills. Here's I guess that's a canna lily probably. Here's a nice little picture of some gladiolas. It'd be nice to cut around that, and I could use it like as a postage stamp. Put it where the postage stamp would go on an envelope in the journal. That would be kind of cool. Same thing with those little windmills, like this. Okay, this picture I think I showed you already. I ran across that and I was like, oh my word, that is hilarious. So I've got to keep that. I don't use magazine pictures for everything. In fact, I probably use it for maybe like 1/5 of my journals because most of my journals are a little bit more old-fashioned, but I'm finding that people really respond to the stuff from magazines and they like the guided journals that I do. So, I get words out of catalogs for the guided journals. And some of them I write by hand. Like if somebody says, can you make a journal that I already have in my shop? They say, can you make that into a guided journal? I say, sure. And I just write things by hand. My handwriting is going to be different from theirs. And I'm using a different pen. Sorry, I live right across the street from the hospital. So that's why you're hearing sirens. So it's going to stand out from their writing, even once they fill it in. So gardening magazines, those are something that are really great. Okay, now this is my second to favorite. My favorite is this. We're going to get to that sooner in a few minutes, but this is my second favorite. This is our Monroe County Life magazine, and you probably have something just like it for your county or your city. Just go to the visitor center and enjoy the pictures, read through the magazine. Like I said, don't just take it for junk journaling, but there are always great pictures, and I bet there are the same pictures in yours as in mine, because I think that they get most of their stuff, most of their articles and things from like one common source, and then they add in some local stuff. I mean, there are articles in these from New York, and I'm in Tennessee, so, but then they add enough of your own area to it. So there are gorgeous pictures in here and some funny pictures, okay? I had a couple copies of this because somebody else gave me a copy that they had after they were done with it, and I cut this out and put it in one of my journals because I just thought that was hilarious. There are also, like, there's a zinnia article in here. So I used some of the zinnia pictures all throughout. This is really cute, this little welcome spring thing. I didn't try to cut out the hanger thing. Day trip, that's a great little title for a page. These little girls doing ballet, that was also just a really good. Here's some more zinnias. There's zinnias all throughout here, so it was really easy to use that. I think I cut this out and used it in some Franken paper. Let's see, again, zinnias, zinnia seeds, just all kinds of things. So that made for a really great theme. Okay, then here's spring garden. You could have spring, you could have garden, you could have cleanup on separate pages, or you could do this all together, or just have spring garden. There's all these little pictures that can be cut out. And then look at this. Here's a wonderful border for across 2 pages, really, if you wanted to. I remember I cut out this ice cream sundae. That was good. So you can just see there's just a lot of really cool stuff that you can find in a magazine like this. And even recipes, like if you wanted to have, here's a recipe right here. If you wanted to have a recipe in, here's another one, in your journal. Those are kind of fun to include in journals. Yeah, so just lots of really cool stuff. I think that there were some pictures in here like of people wearing masks and stuff, and so I included those in my 2020 one. Okay, see here, look at these pictures of these ballerinas. I like this picture here. So, you know, there's just a lot of really cool stuff in these county magazines. Look at that. That is adorable. Little dog with a hat on. All right, so yeah, so that gives you some ideas for that. And then this is my all-time favorite. And again, you guys, don't just order the magazine because it's really cool, or the catalog because it's really cool. Only get it if you're gardening, or ask one of your gardening friends to get it, and when they're done with it, to pass it on to you. Bill, this is from 2019. Bill always held on to this magazine for a year before he'd give it to me, and that's good, you know. But look, okay, so there's some cool pictures on here, but let me show you what's so awesome about this. This magazine is full of hand-drawn pictures, and even the descriptions are really cool to put in a journal, you know, just as little, like this one here is big enough to make it into a pocket, but some of them are just, you know, small little descriptions like this right here that would just be cool to have all throughout a journal. Okay, and they have these that are hand-drawn and hand-colored, and then they also have some, and they have insects all throughout, you know, that are just really cute. And then they also have some that are not black and white, they're green and white, that are also really cute. And you could either hand color them or put them in the way that they are. The recipient could hand color them. There's flowers. I mean, I could use, this one magazine would provide enough stuff for a dozen journals. It's just really neat. So that's my very, very favorite one. So I hope that helps you. I hope that gives you some ideas of maybe something that you're not already including in your journals that you could. That's a lot of fun. And again, this is something that's just really fun to do while you're watching television or watching a movie or sitting having a conversation that you don't have to like look somebody in the eye for or something. I used to go through magazines while I was sitting in the kitchen at the table talking to my husband, and we were both just kind of like doing our own thing. Sometimes he'd even be cooking and or doing dishes, and I'd be cutting stuff out of magazines and stuff. And so this isn't something that takes a lot of thought, so you can do it while you're doing something else. Anyway, really cool stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and like it. That is liking it, right? And share it, and make sure that you subscribe to my channel, you guys. I really want to build up this channel. I hope that it's going to be very inspiring to you and just give you a lot of ideas and make you want to try stuff that you haven't done yet. All right, I love you all. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.